Awesome, well thank you for coming today. I'm really excited that you're here to do this with me. But before we start, I do have to read Open College's assessment. So, ready? This session presentation is being recorded for assessment purposes for my course with Open Colleges. This recording will be live streamed through Open College's online learning platform to the Open College's learning management system. These sessions may be used by Open Colleges for compliance purposes or within a course to demonstrate examples of best practices. This video may be available publicly, applies to the time the video is being streamed, and after the recording, the video will be stored securely and will become the property of Open Colleges. If you do not wish to be recorded, you'll need to leave the session now. You happy, Sharon?
Yep.
Happy, Melissa? Excellent. Okay, so then we will start. Good morning, thank you for coming in today. This is going to be a formal meeting, in which case it's very nice to have you here with us, Melissa. Jane, I needed to bring you in here and to talk over some important matters. What's going to happen is, by the end of this, I'm going to share with you your performance standards and what I expect, and we're going to try and come to an agreement on a plan where we can work towards a cooperative effort to help you. Do you understand? Okay. So, before this meeting, I sent you a week ago an email with your job requirements, an overview of the position, because I want you to be aware of some of the expectations we have, and I'm sure you are. But right now, very unfortunately, you're not quite meeting the performance standards that we're wanting. So this is your formal warning on behalf of Australian Hardware that you need to be improving, and we're going to give you a 12-week period, or a probationary, to help you, or as an assessment to overcome this. Okay, but I'm confident in your ability. I really believe that we can put this behind us and keep moving on. However, we do need to work through this. So, performance things. So, to let you know of exactly what it is that your performance shortfalls are, we have a $10,000 requirement for the sales revenue each month. Right now, you're only doing about $5,000, so that's half. That's 50%, and that's on the sales team. That's a really downfall, especially to the other staff as well, because then they need to make up for it to keep the business running. Other things are, you have a score of 5 out of 10 for your customer service rating, in contrast to the 8 out of 10. There have been recorded staff complaints saying that you have been constantly referring customers on to other staff for knowledge that you should already know. You have an average time of 5 minutes at the checkout to complete the sales transaction, which is only a 2-minute goal. And we also have not taking initiative to attend the training that we provide. We've done 7 hours, and when you need a minimum of 20 hours. So they're the things that we're doing, particularly looking at your sales revenue and your customer interaction. With a 5 out of 10, it's not exactly what we want for an excellent service quality. Would you like to say anything or comment anything on some of those things?
Well, I did find it a little bit difficult to sell people things when they don't necessarily want it. So just for the sake of getting my sales up to a larger percentage, I find it really difficult personally to try and, get someone to buy something off me just for the sake of having those sales. Okay. So maybe this job is not for me if I'm having to meet quotas that, I don't like talking people into buying things. If they want it, they'll come in, they'll buy it, and I'm happy to help them. And so I know there are ways that people can, learn to sell, but I haven't learned how to do that.
Okay. And do you think, because it is also that your product knowledge hasn't been good and you've had lots of other staff complaining that you're referring them to them for product knowledge, what would you say about your product knowledge experience?
Have you got specific situations that they've
For example,
mentioned? Yeah.
when they said one time they came in and they asked for where the screwdrivers were,
Yeah.
and you had to find another staff member to find where the screwdrivers are. And
Yeah,
that's
because
very
that day
simple.
actually, if you remember, there was being some fixing in that corner of the shop, and so a lot of that stock had been moved. And so I had to find out where those particular screwdrivers had been moved to, and that's why I needed to ask. And I know there are some staff that don't really like me, and so of course they will try to grab a hold of anything that's negative on my part. And so I think that that person was being a bit unfair in dobbing me in on that when, you know, the stock had all been moved from that side of the store, and so I didn't know where it had gone. And so I had to ask somebody, because I knew that we do have those screwdrivers, but you know, if they're not there where they usually are, then it's a bit hard to know where they are. However, this is my first time to work in a hardware store, and I haven't done this before, and so I admit that there are some things to do with hardware that I have no idea. And since I've only been here a short time, I have not been able to attend all of your training sessions, but I do have intention.
We have been here 6 months, so we have had multiple ones that you haven't attended.
Yeah, and I was away for some of those months too when I was sick, you know. However, I'm quite happy to attend those sessions if you, you know, give me specific dates to do that.
Okay.
I will, I'm prepared to do that.
Okay. Well, I can see you're quite defensive on some of these points, and as I said before, it's not that I'm trying to say terminate your employment. Rather, I'm actually I want to be cooperative with you and work towards you. But from our records that we have, having a 50% drop in sales, having the customer service rating down low, there are some of those things that we need to change, despite what your knowledge may be on the products. So
I think part of the issue really is, unfortunately, that there's been a bit of friction with some of the other staff, so it's been a bit hard to keep coming to work, like what I've told you about, because it's really hard to come to work when you feel like certain people are a bit, I don't know if they're prejudiced or if they just don't like me for one reason and another, and so I feel so uncomfortable and inadequate when those people are around that I just want to go and hide, really.
Okay. Well, what would you recommend to help solve that, for that particular, with working to the team and the team environment? How would you like that to be?
Well, in this kind of a store, I don't know how you can resolve that, because, you know, those people that I feel uncomfortable with are the very people that I thought would actually give me the support of learning to know where things are and how they work, and how best to serve the customers and that type of thing. But since I've been having this...
Sorry, is this other supervisors as well not being supportive? Or is it mainly team members?
No, my supervisor,
Okay.
yeah, I was feeling uncomfortable, and so,
Okay.
you
I'll
know,
take a note of that.
I don't feel comfortable to go and ask them, because I feel like
They're being unsupportive.
they don't have a nice way of telling me what, you know, and so I feel intimidated by them, and so that's why I'm reluctant to actually go and be in the same corner as them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to ask you to try and move past that, and because you need to be able to know something, so it's best if you go up and ask them anyway, and just try and use some of your own interpersonal skills to be able to relate to them, try and being friendly to them, because being friendly with them is going to be one of the best options to make friends with them. Understand that?
Sure, I'm willing to do that.
You're willing to do that. That's good. Well, you know your performance standards. Thank you. You know your performance standards. You know what they are, and obviously you can see that you've got some cases that you would like to. So maybe we can arrange another time where we can write those down and investigate them more thoroughly to try and help help with this. And because going into this next 12 weeks, it's going to be really important for you to come back up to our performance standards. So that's going to be important. So how about in 1 week's time, I'll give you 1 week and you can write out all these different reasons, and then we can have another talk again and we can work out some strategies to help improve that.
Sure.
Does that sound fun? Excellent. Well, the only thing that I have to say as well is, do you recognise that you have underperformed in terms of the performance expectations?
Yes, I knew that, and I felt that, you know, things weren't as good as they could be, but I didn't know how to overcome that because I couldn't approach my supervisor, and, you know, the other staff members were, well, some of them will talk to me about it, and others, of course, are siding with the supervisor, and so I just sort of felt like, oh, we can't get past this because of the separation in the team.
Okay. Alright, so we'll meet again in 1 week's time to discuss some of these, some more ideas and how we can help overcome this. But in saying that, I do have to inform you that it is the requirements that you do perform at a certain standard. And we understand, we try and support, we do support our employees. And so that's why we're having this talk. We're not just, you know, we're not just leaving you there. We want to help you. So, yes, we'll need to improve, and that's the standard. So do you understand that?
I understand what you're saying, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sharon. We're going to do that. Yeah, we've got 12-week period where we can improve. I'm sure that we can put this behind us, that we can keep moving forward, because I really believe the best in you. So, thank you for coming in today.